What's up, everyone? It's Roger and APF firm, DisKingdom.com, with another episode of the DisKingdom podcast. And on this week's show, we are going to be discussing kind of a couple of different questions that got asked to us by some of the members of our DisKingdom Lounge, which is all about shopping experiences and the difference sort of between like the Disney parks, online, Disney stores, and like the outlets, and just in general, just talking a little bit about shopping. Now, it is kind of quite interesting sort of looking at the different stores and the different experiences because, like, for example, even just in the parks, like how, when you go into Disney World or anything like that, I know we'd spend evenings just at Disney Springs or downtown Disney as it was then, going shopping. After we spent the day at the parks, you'd go down to the Disney Village in Disneyland Paris and go shopping and looking around because there would be so much stuff there that you just couldn't see anywhere else. And it was part of the holiday, and it's part of the experience of being at Disney is shopping. And I mean, the amount of stores they put in is pretty big. So do you ever sort of do that with, obviously you're a local, so I don't know if it's slightly the same for you over in Disneyland.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely some specialty stores when you're at the parks and resorts, and they usually carry items you normally wouldn't find outside of the parks in general. I know that the Disney Store does have a park section and even one on their website, but it's usually not the same. But a big example is Disneyland. Like they have in downtown Disney, they have the D Street, or they have the Vault. And they also have this new, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's like this art gallery type of store.
Oh, Wonderground.
Thank you. Yeah, and they just have things you just would not find anywhere else. I know when I go to the parks, like I'm inside, like let's say maybe like Disneyland per se or whatnot. I mean, you have stores like the Emporium or the Trader's Outpost. I mean, you have all these different things that you normally can't find outside. So it's definitely an experience, like you said. There's a reason why you have these specialty stores in the parks, because sometimes you can't find that stuff outside of them. So
it's definitely different. I mean, I know like in Disneyland Paris, for example, we have the village, we have some stores. But I'm going to be honest, for me, like the shopping in Paris is slightly different than it is in Walt Disney World and Disneyland, because a lot of the stuff in the parks, it's the same in every store. There's not quite as much. I found like in Walt Disney World, there's a lot more variety. Like some of the things you could find in like outside of in like the Star Tours store, or in different areas, you wouldn't always be able to find them all in like downtown Disney. They were a little bit different. When in Paris, the stores were very, very similar. But that brings us on to like Disney stores, because Disney stores are what a lot of us, especially not near the parks, get to experience a little bit of Disney magic, a little bit of that feeling of being able to buy stuff that you maybe can't see everywhere else. And you get all the experience with the way the building looks and the way the cast members and the music. And it's a different experience. And sadly, here in the UK, 5 of the stores in my I would say like in my region, in the last 5 years have all closed. There used to be one 5-10 miles away. There was one 40 miles. There was one 60 miles, one 70 miles, one 80 miles. They've all gone. They've literally, over the last 5 years, they've all been closing. There's the one in Oxford Street. There's a few still big ones left. And I've got to be honest, when I go to London, I always have to go to the one in Oxford Street. It is an amazing store. 2 levels. There was a Cinderella coach in there. There was like characters that are taking pictures. It's such a great store, and I've always got to go. And I can spend 20-30 minutes just walking around, seeing all the stuff in person, and it's an immersive experience that you don't get in Toys R Us, for example. A very, very different feeling in a Disney store.
Yeah, no, I agree. Disney stores out here, they're very immersive. I mean, you walk in and you see like decor that you wouldn't really see in any other store. I mean, they even have projections of Disney characters and stuff that are actually going along the walls. I mean, like you can be shopping for one thing and all of a sudden you see Tinkerbell like fly by. I mean, or you see like this animated tree and it just changes and you have images of different like animated cartoons that you've seen before in the past. But like you said, as far as the shopping goes, you do find a hefty selection of all these different toys. Again, certain ones that you wouldn't find at like a Toys R Us per se or something like that. But it's like you said, it's an immersive experience. I don't know if the ones out there have what they have here. They even have a little theater section for the kids where you can just sit them down and pick a little clip and you can watch something. But
I think
it's a cool experience.
Yeah, the one in London did. The ones that were in the smaller stores didn't really have that kind of thing. They're kind of like the flagship one. I mean, I know like the one in New York City that me and my wife loved that store in Times Square. That one really did that's such two levels of merchandise. I mean, we spent a fortune in there, buying all the New York merchandise it's like, we're on holiday, we buy the Statue of Liberty mugs and the dolls and that's where I discovered Vinylmation was in the New York City Times as New York store. The stores are great, and there used to be a store near about halfway, and every time we used to be on the motorway going somewhere, I used to pull over into the mall. We'd get some shopping, get some food, and I'd always go to the Disney store every single time. Stop Disney store, and then we'd come on home, and that was like the perfect pit stop until they closed the store down. So, but that was an immersive experience, and I love. It's a real shame that so many of them have closed.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had kind of a similar experience at the Times Square location too. If I remember correctly, I think my girlfriend kind of dove into this pyramid of Minnie Mouse plush dolls. I mean, it was just it's a fun store. I mean, Disney stores are cool. So
yeah, but that leads us on to the outlets. Now I'm going to be honest. Out in Florida, the last 2 visits we went to the outlets. And we pretty much got into this thing on the last trip where it was like, right, we don't buy any merchandise till we've gone to the outlets. We went into, go into the outlets. They have them on International Drive and they have them in the Vineland area. And we did about half our year's Christmas shopping in the store. We bought so much. Everyone got Disney presents for Christmas that year because, we were in the outlets, we're picking stuff up, so much choice. Vinylmation, man, I spent a fortune in there picking. They were doing this. I mean, nowadays there's not as much as it used to be, but I used to spend a fortune on Vinylmation. They're buying all the big 9 inches that you just couldn't get normally, and just the outlets have always been. If you go into the park, if you're going to Walt Disney World, you got to go to the outlets, pick up your merchandise there, then work out if you need anything at the actual parks because you'll get it all half or a third off. So especially for Brits and stuff going out there, if you're there for a couple of weeks, just go and have a little bit of time off over there. Don't buy anything in the parks, all your plushes and your t-shirts and stuff. Go check it out there because you can save a lot of money, and Disney's not cheap to get to.
Now, can I ask you a question? When you say outlets, are you referring to like the Disney store outlets, or are you referring to just a specific outlet store that carries a bunch of the park merchandise?
The character warehouses. These are the official. There's 2 in Florida. There's the 2 official outlets. Not just like your outlet factory store full of rubbish toys that we used to fall for when we were kids. And
okay,
the official ones are a good experience. They're not as flamboyant. They're not as flashy. There's nothing amazing in terms of the setup. But I mean, they used to be cool. They used to have a trade box there. I mean, it was full of rubbish, but for Vinylmation. But yeah, do you have them out? I think you have them out there, don't you?
Not necessarily. No. Like what we do have is we have companies that I guess it's like 1 or 2 companies that they basically end up receiving a lot of the merchandise that doesn't get sold at the theme parks, and they open up a little outlet thing. Selection's not always the greatest on our end. I mean, I'm sure with Florida there's 4 different parks, so I'm sure they have tons of merchandise to shell out in outlets over there. But for me, I've actually had 2 different experiences with outlets. One is one that actually handles theme park memorabilia, and it was okay. We had a bunch of Christmas stuff. We had a bunch of when it was, I think the last time I went, it was 2014 or whatever. They had 2013 embroidered merchandise or logos. It's basically the previous year. But one thing that I do experience out here in our, the big factory outlet malls that we have out here. We actually have a Disney store outlet out, like maybe about 30 miles down the road. And I kind of find the selection in there pretty good. It's very well stocked. You find a lot of great stuff from the Disney store at a discount price. But they're not as, like you said, they're not as flashy. They're not as immersive. They are very like an afterthought type of setup. But hey, you know, if they can sell it, they can sell it.
It's definitely kind of the different stages, because obviously you have the online experience, because this is what I buy a lot of stuff from Disney Store UK, the online, and also DisneyStore.com. Now I pretty much check DisneyStore.com daily because of doing the website and for new products and stuff. Personally, I find the website to be a little bit hit and miss because of the way that they update. So much stuff would go on there, and it doesn't get sales out so quickly because they don't put enough product online. They never seen a lot of the limited edition stuff. It just goes so quickly because they don't seem to split it evenly. Instead of like a third going online if it's at the parks. I don't know. There's a lot of issues with packaging and all the rest of it. The UK store, good. They have a good selection and stuff. Always just bugs me usually is the price of shipping. It's like, to get free shipping, you have to spend over £50, and shipping's like £6. So if you only want one item, I just don't buy from that. You know, there might be, unless there's a rare free shipping. It's quite often you might be like, oh, I like that, but I'm not paying, you know, nearly the same amount in shipping to buy it, which is always a bit disappointing. But no, definitely different experiences in the different stores.
Yeah, not a fan of the website, and it's basically for the example you gave about exclusives, because I normally buy stuff on that website when it has to do with something pretty exclusive, and it is a headache to try to get something. So yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. I think that's pretty much going to wrap up that there, but we'd love to know your thoughts on like shopping experience and stuff. Let us know in the comments below and get in touch with us, and also join in on the DisKingdom Lounge as well. We can join in the discussion there. So big thank you to Rachel for suggesting that one, and also big thank you to Ethan over at sorterapps.com and Magic Band Collectors for being this month's Patreon. Also, if for Patreon users as well, you do get access to these DisKingdom podcasts a couple of days earlier than they go out everywhere else. If you haven't already done so, remember to hit that subscribe button. Remember to if you're on the different audio versions and stuff as well, you can subscribe there. And check us out at DisKingdom.com. That's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. Laters, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Later, guys.